The aim and final end of all music, Bach once said, should be none other than the glory of God and the refreshment of the soul. For the past 50 years, Nancy Cappel has given her time, shared her talents as a teacher and musician to glorify God and refresh the souls of the people who attend St. Matthew's and live in the surrounding communities, devoting her life to making disciples of Jesus Christ through music. The year was 1969, as Nancy's husband, Herb, began what would become a 20-year tenure as the director of the Adult Sanctuary Choir and 10 years of directing the Youth Chapel Choir. Nancy approached then-minister Charles Winfrey to volunteer to start a children's choir, and so began the altar choir with 15 members. She took over the chapel choir in 1979 and the sanctuary choir in 1999. She has directed all vocal choirs at St. Matthew's since then. In 1973, after hearing a visiting handbell choir, a member of St. Matthew's initiated funding for 2 octaves of handbells. In March of that year, with bells and bell manual in hand, Nancy started a bell choir of 7 women known as the Alleluia Ringers. That December, they performed their first concert at the UMW Christmas party. In 1980, with the death of Suzanne Mitchell, one of the 7 original ringers, the Alleluia Ringers were renamed the Mitchell Ringers in her honor. Interest in ringing handbells grew quickly. Children and youth began ringing in 1976 with the formation of the Carol Ringers and the Celebration Ringers. 2 additional adult handbell choirs, the Alleluia Ringers for adult beginners and the Peace Ringers for advanced adults, began in 1995. St. Matthew's purchased more bells to accommodate that interest in 1976 and 1991. In 2007, the church purchased the final bell to complete the 7-octave set. Under Nancy's leadership, both the vocal and handbell choir programs grew to become vital parts of the St. Matthew's community.
My father was a minister, and I grew up in the church. We had a strong tradition of music as an integral part of worship. When we came to St. Matthew's, both Herb and I wanted to build that tradition here. We worked with children, youth, and adult vocal choirs, and later developed the handbell choirs to share their talents and message on Sunday mornings.
Music has indeed become an integral part of worship at St. Matthew's. The vocal and handbell choirs participate regularly in Sunday services, enhancing the worship experience.
I need music to make worship complete.
When I'm singing, it is not just for the congregation, but my offering to God. Nancy understands that and helps us all in that joyous gift to the Lord.
The music at St. Matthew's is really unique. It's the connective tissue that really binds us all together. No matter where you come from or where you're going, when you walk through those doors, you're brought into the connectedness that is St. Matthew's.
Miles and I both participated in the music program from K through graduation, and during that time we learned and grew a lot, not only as musicians, but as people. We were able to form foundational friendships and have a lot of unique experiences that we couldn't have any other way.
The music program offered me many great leadership opportunities through things like the Bell Tour, performances at the State Department and at the Kennedy Center. And as I head off to college, I feel very prepared, and part of that is thanks to the experiences I've had in the music program.
St. Matthew's Church is a wonderful example of the biblical truth that worship and music go hand in hand. Inspirational music leads to inspirational worship. I'm honored to serve a church that takes music so seriously. Thanks, Nancy.
In 1972, the children presented the first musical worship service, the Goliath Jazz. Since then, Nancy has directed the children and youth in presenting more than 50 musicals at St. Matthew's. And every year, the sanctuary choir and the chapel choir combine to present a cantata, joined by members of the congregation who want to participate and accompanied by an orchestra during the holiday season.
One of the things I've enjoyed most about being the music director at St. Matthew's is being able to share the joyful noise of God's music outside the walls of the church and the broader community. I've always felt that when people experience the passion that our choirs bring to their music and the joy they feel in sharing it with others reveals God is alive and well.
Reaching out into the community is an essential aspect of the music ministry that Nancy instilled at St. Matthew's. The vocal and handbell choirs have performed in nursing homes, retirement communities, shopping malls, and other venues throughout Northern Virginia. They have performed at the White House, the State Department, DAR Constitution Hall, the National Gallery of Art, Wolf Trap, and at the lighting of the National Christmas Tree. The Carol and Peace Ringers perform each December on the Millennium Stage at the Kennedy Center, and in 2009, they performed in the concert hall with the Choral Arts Society of Washington.
I've been fortunate to discover my purpose early in life. When I was 7 and had my first piano lesson, I remember telling my dad after that lesson that I wanted to be a music teacher. Growing up in the church, I realized that God was calling me to use my talents to spread His word through music. Becoming the music director at St. Matthew's has not simply been a job, it's been my passion to create music for all as God intended.
Beginning in 1979, Nancy has taken the youth handbell choirs on annual tours from Maine to California, giving concerts at churches each evening, spending the night in host homes, and attending a festival sponsored by the Handbell Musicians of America. One of the highlights of all the tours was the 1996 trip to the Summer Olympics in Atlanta that included both the youth vocal choir and all the youth handbell choirs. They gave several concerts on the way, and while in Atlanta, attended 5 events at the Olympic Games. Each year, the handbell choirs present the Handbell Desserts concerts and the Ring for the Cure, with proceeds going to fight breast cancer. In 2011, Nancy began traveling to Swaziland in southern Africa to teach the children in this poor country how to find joy through music.
Michelle Peters, a member of St. Matthew's and a special ed teacher, along with Lois Wilson, a Fairfax dentist, formed the Michelot Project in 2007. The project serves 140 disabled children at St. Joseph's School in Swaziland. This program is supported by 2 Rotary clubs in Northern Virginia, a Rotary club in Manzini, Swaziland, and by contributions from St. Matthew's. In 2011, I traveled to the school with 2 sets of chimes purchased by St. Matthew's. For 6 summers, I've spent 2 weeks teaching music, presenting 2 musicals, and developing a friendship with students and teachers. My first day, I heard a beautiful voice coming from the church at the middle of the campus. I found a small boy sitting in a wheelchair singing with the choir. I asked if I could video him, and they said yes. With tears running down my cheeks, I heard the voice of an angel. I saw how God worked in these youth to bring joy to others, despite their disabilities. One of their favorite songs, and mine also, is What a Difference You Made in My Life. We couldn't always share conversations, but our common love of music brought us together in a phenomenal way. Clay, who was 14 in 2011, has developed into the student choir director with a lovely baritone voice. It was as if at first sight we connected, and he forever changed my life. Through music, the students and I are intertwined, heart and soul.
Okay, go.
Oh, okay, now ready?
Yep.
I don't know what to say, really. A lot of things. Hey, how are you? We're so much disappointed that you're not with us, especially since it's your resignation. We so much looked forward to your place, but nonetheless, we love you. Bye.
Under Nancy's leadership, the music program at St. Matthew's has blessed the church and the community with joyful noise. By instilling eternal values, developing leaders of worship, teaching great anthems and hymns of the church, and building confidence, self-discipline, and the spirit of cooperation in each person who participates, Nancy has indeed made disciples of Jesus Christ through music.
Nancy's leadership at St. Matthew's has been such a blessing in the lives of our entire family. Her leadership has given us so many opportunities and fostered lifelong friendships and connections. I came to St. Matthew's when I was 10 years old, and I was actively involved in altar choir throughout my time growing up. And I'm so blessed that now I get to watch my children develop a love of music ministry. And I really don't think that would have been possible without all the work that Nancy has done here at St. Matthew's. Nancy, thank you for sticking around for 50 years, and I hope you enjoy every moment of your retirement.
I appreciate the way that Nancy selects joyful music that demonstrates the unity of the church across time and place. From singing Lo How a Rose Ere Blooming from the 15th century, to When in Our Music God is Glorified from the 20th century, to Siyahamba from the African cultures. Thank you, Nancy.
I'm so honored to contribute to this video celebrating Nancy Cappel. I'm June Smithson, and Nancy has been part of my family's musical lives for 40 years. Our church's ministry is done in many ways. Nancy Cappel championed the role of music in our church and out in the wider community. She taught, encouraged, and delivered God's message through the music programs that she led. Our two daughters, Tanya and Pam, two grandchildren, Brooke and Carter Godlove, and our son-in-law, Brian, have all directly benefited from her approach to music ministry. She has been a blessing to us, as she has to the entire St. Matthew's community. We wish her much joy and love as she leads this ministry.
People have asked me how I was able to do this for 50 years. The answer is simple. It's because of each of you. Thinking about all the generations who have participated in the music program and seeing them now passing that on to their kids and grandkids is truly inspiring. That's what it's all about, making disciples of Jesus Christ through music.